Hello everyone, this is Inkyink, and this is my first video on the fan-made game Pokemon Uranium. It's a game that I have played through, I want to say half of before, so it won't be a blind playthrough until pretty far off.
Hey, it has been a while. This channel was created on my 13th birthday, July 20th, 2016. Today is July 20th, 2026. A decade of time definitely sounds like a lot already, but even more so, a decade of time feels like a lot looking back on it. The past 10 years of my life have been extremely formative, if not the most formative years of my life. I mean, probably the early childhood counts as well. Probably influenced some stuff. Probably most of it, I don't know. Like, these past 10 years have still been incredibly formative. I was barely a cognizant person when I started this YouTube channel. Just like a 13-year-old little dweeb who wanted to do YouTube videos. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It's crazy to think that the person that I am today just straight up didn't exist when I started this YouTube channel. So much has changed over the past 10 years in, like, life, just life in general. My life, like, history, culture, technology, society, everything. And I think that's just, like, really interesting to consider, personally. It's kind of neat. And so, to consider that, for this channel's 10th birthday, 10-year anniversary of the Inkyink channel, I just kind of want to look back on it, and just kind of have an open and just kind of me talking to the camera for a while. Super chill, conversational, hopefully. Maybe that's the vibe. I don't know. I'm just kind of making this. Yesterday, I wrote down some of my thoughts, and it ended up being like 6 pages. I'm not gonna, like, read off of a script per se, but I think I'll definitely use it to inform the direction of the discussion. There's a guy mowing the lawn here at the park, if you're wondering about that background noise. I'm sure he's doing a great job. But aside from that, I've got kind of the place to myself, which is nice. It's what I was hoping for. Now, it's a very hot day. I'm glad I'm in the shade, but hopefully I don't boil alive out here. Because having a summer birthday, that's like the one drawback. So yeah, wow, I started the Inkyink channel right before going into 7th grade, and now I am a college graduate. That really puts it into perspective. Yeah, all of middle school, all of high school, and all of college have elapsed, have taken place with this YouTube channel in the background. Now, I haven't always been active on it. You know, it's been 3 years since my last upload, almost a year since my last stream, and even before then, I haven't been consistently uploading since, like, 2021. I mean, we'll get into that. We'll get into why I think that happened, why, yeah, what's up with me these days. If you are a returning subscriber, or even just like a new person who stumbled upon this video, hello, hi. Yeah, I'm Inkyink. It probably should have led with that. Man, I'm trying not to feel like cringe. I haven't talked to a camera in several years, so hopefully it's not super, I don't know, performative. I hope not. With this channel being in the background of my life for so long, I've met so many incredible people who've made an impact on my life. I've spent time with friends who mean the world to me, and I've regretted decisions and failings that have broken many connections. I have had successes and opportunities I never thought I would have before, might not even ever have again. I got to be on a film set for like a feature film. That was really cool. But I've also had, you know, really low points of pain and insecurity and discouragement that I've felt super insurmountable, that I could, like, never bounce back from. I've discovered and experienced my favorite like entertainment, pieces of art, media, so many experiences that have formed my taste, my opinions, my what I enjoy in a story. And I've also started to create things of my own, you know, 10 years ago, I was just like a kid. I didn't know that I have an affinity for writing music. I had no idea that I was. I mean, I had kind of written like dumb little kid novels before then, but like to really understand my passion as a creative, that didn't happen yet. That hadn't occurred yet. That was all within these past 10 years. Another, major thing that happened within the past 10 years was the shift into from the 2010s decade to the 2020s, and right off the bat, we got hit with the COVID pandemic. COVID hit like right in the middle of high school for me, and I think everyone had a slightly different experience with it depending on where you were at in life. I know it was really hard for people in college at the time, people having to navigate work, and like younger kids who were really deprived of a lot of social development. But it's not just like the pandemic that has felt like a shift. In these past 10 years, I've got to have a front row seat at watching American politics devolve into a mess. I remember in like middle school, high school, I would like being told by teachers we were in like an unprecedented time of peace, and now there's multiple wars going on right this moment as we speak. The culture of laziness and like overindulgence and materialism and just over-reliance on convenience, that's something that's like really blown up in the past few years, and of course that leads to stuff like going full digital on things and the streaming age, and now even letting computers make decisions for us and trying to intrude into art with AI. But yeah, it's a lot of world history to look back on and to have experienced. I think growing up in this time, I've really been able to formulate my stances, my beliefs, what I care about, what I think is right and wrong, which is something that, as a 13-year-old, I was just barely starting to have opinions. So yeah, I know what my stances are now, and I can understand and appreciate other people's stances as well. Learning to empathize and understand other people has been a big piece of development for I think anyone growing up to adulthood. You really learn to listen to people. You learn to appreciate their perspective, whether it's in friendship or love or community. I strongly feel the innate desire to understand and to be understood. And I think that is a deeply human thing. I think that's super important. And I think that's a principle that drives a lot of how I think. I think in the past 10 years, I've grown to understand and just grown to love people. I think that's something super human about us. I think it's very important. It's a very important skill to hone because it is not easy. People can be genuinely terrible. And I mean, we can see that on full display in the modern day. Honestly, we can see it throughout human history. People can be terrible. And I am absolutely guilty of that. I have said very hurtful things. I've done very stupid things in regards to people in the past 10 years. I have not always been easy to love, and I have not loved well in these past 10 years at times. If that has been your experience with me at all in these past 10 years, I am so sorry. But I am so glad that in life we continue to move and grow and learn from mistakes. That is such an important skill. And we're always growing and growing as people and growing in our understanding every day through our lived experiences as long as we try to. And that is something I've really strived to do. Something I think is super important at this time in history and culture is having hope. There's so much despair going around, and I think just seeing people with love is the most important thing we can do. I don't want to get too, I guess, preachy. I don't want to get up on my soapbox. Or I guess I will for a minute. But I'm just filled with so much hope that we live in a world created by a God whose primary operative is hope and love. This part, I guess, might be a little, might put some of you off, but I guess kind of hear me out. I'm not trying to be super preachy. This has just been a big part of my life in the past 10 years. So I wanted to talk about it in this video, because my belief in God, my faith, has actualized in the last decade. Obviously, as a child, you don't really have all of the pieces cognitively to really think that deeply about the world and come to those decisions. Many of you know this already. I was raised Christian, but I think there is such an important distinction between being raised Christian and being able to call yourself a Christian. So I am of the Christian faith. You don't have to be to watch this channel or enjoy my videos or just be friends with me. But in these past 10 years, I have really made my faith my own, and I can say this is what I actually believe about the world, about philosophy as a way of life, about how to interact with people to express that love. Because that is what it's about. It's honestly a pretty hard time, I'd say, to call yourself a Christian, especially in America, because of how it's been warped and stolen, misused by absolutely horrible, corrupt people, misguided at the very least, really distorting it to use as a weapon to divide people and to further their own agendas. The discernment of growing up in this time and seeing how people can warp it so easily has really been, it's been important, especially in growing in discernment, what the Bible actually says, what God actually loves and hates. And I'm really grateful for that freedom of discernment and not just having to follow what other people are saying, to be able to actually go back to the Word and be like, well, does this check out? Is this what God likes? Is this what Jesus likes? And so much of that these days in modern America is not that. Is very much not that. And it is very frustrating to see so much of what God hates being done by people using his name to promote it, or as their excuse. So if this part of the video is a little weirder or awkward or even rubs you the wrong way, please let this be the takeaway from this section of the video, because this has meant so much to my growth as a person over the past 10 years. But if you've had bad encounters with the church, with Christians, please know that God's love is unconditional. He is a God of justice. He is a God of mercy. He is ultimately a God of love. And if you've had those bad experiences, you're not fighting against God. You are fighting against people. And those people themselves, in their actions, are fighting against God. I guess to shift gears a little bit, getting out of the deep for a second, I guess a bit more about what I have realized in my life, the things that I like. 8 or 9 years ago, I discovered my passion for music, in writing it, in arranging it, in just listening to it, honestly. Crazy to think that such an integral part of my life was just barely beginning to develop, just to go from like literally nothing, just the occasional be like, I kinda like music, I kinda like songs. To go from that to now where I have 2 albums published, a few singles, I think a total of like 37 songs and counting. It's crazy. All that in the past 10 years. Learning how to compose, learning different softwares to do it with, learning the methods, honing my skills, just to get to this point. Crazy. Past 10 years. Did not exist 10 years ago. And honestly, it's not even done. There's, being a creative, your journey's never done. You're always creating, you're always learning and growing and doing new things and new tactics. That's the guy. That's the freaking guy. And I still plan on improving my skills, making better songs, and I hope that they kind of go somewhere someday. I'd love to have a career writing music, writing stories, being a creative in general. But yeah, some of my music influences have been like the video game greats like Koji Kondo, David Wise, Toby Fox. But I've also gotten into Billy Joel lately. I think his style is also really influential on how I'm starting to think about lyrics. But of course, if you know me at all, especially in the past 2 years or so, you know my all-time GOAT, my top-tier inspiration, whose skill I strive to achieve someday, is Revo of Sound Horizon and Linked Horizon. You might know him as the guy who wrote the Attack on Titan openings. You're probably hearing some form of his music right now, but I think that man is just a genius. I'm gonna go a little side tangent here. I just started, with Attack on Titan, like, oh man, these theme songs are bangers. I listened to the full versions of those, like, these are so awesome and weird, and like a fusion of classical and rock, and I grew up very much listening to a lot of classical music, so combining like classical music tropes with the power of rock and just the man, those like Japanese composers with their chord progressions are just so much more interesting than anything in the West. Please check their stuff out. It's a little bit harder to get into. It's story music, which is another thing that's super inspiring to me, is that he's telling stories through the songs. And that's, when I was a kid, I would just, when listening to music, I'd always imagine stories like to go along with the music. So it feels like Revo's music feels like everything I've listened to, all of my tastes as a kid growing up in music, all kind of culminated and evolved into like an awesome thing as an adult. I will not die without seeing him perform live. That is something that I am holding to. I will go to Japan someday and see that band live. But yeah, if you're an older subscriber or you're just checking out the channel for the first time and you've wondered what I've been up to, it's probably music. You can find me on Inkyink, on like Spotify, YouTube Music, pretty much every music platform. You've probably been listening to some of my music throughout this video. I'll probably have like a little splash thing. It's like, oh, this is what you're listening to. And I would definitely appreciate if you checked out my music, but I won't turn this into an ad. Now, another thing that's grown in the past 10 years, and I'm really glad it has stuck around, is my appreciation and love for games. I think it's definitely grown into like my favorite hobby. I love being able to step into a world, a story, even just like a fun activity that's been crafted by someone. I think there's something so special about games, and I love collecting them, I love playing them, and I love talking about them. Now I want to pivot a little bit and talk about this channel. It has been no secret that I have not really done much with it in years. I really kind of fell off the consistent uploads late into high school, probably around 2021. I think my peak was probably 2020, obviously helped by the pandemic. I am grateful to have had a pretty good experience with it because I really got a lot closer with a bunch of online friends. I was really able to commit more to YouTube, just being online and creating things. But it was really hard to keep myself motivated because by that point I think I had kind of exhausted my creative ambition for making YouTube videos. I started this channel very much inspired by the Let's Play boom of the early 2010s, my big inspirations like Dan TDM and my friend Caleb, who basically just started making YouTube videos as like an 11-year-old and they were some fun little videos. I joined him for a few, my brother joined him for a few, and those, I still look back on those very fondly. They're very fun, just fun, stupid stuff we did as kids. And that really inspired me to be like, oh, I want to make my own stuff. I want to make little YouTube videos. I loved the, very bite-sized, Let's Play format. Like, this is an episode of this, and we're going to do this in this episode. And I'll see you guys next time, like and subscribe, all that. And something that has really always been both a motivator and a bit of a stumbling block for me as a creative is that I think I'm very extrinsically motivated. It makes the art of creation worth it when people can see and engage with it. It's not so much that it's like a craving for fame. It's just it's a matter of I have this cool idea. I want to share this with people. being just kind of like a dumb little kid making like really low effort videos, they were honest. That's what they were. My old videos were honest. They were not the best, but they didn't need to be the best because I was having fun. And I think that fun kind of wore off, and I started just thinking about the views too much. I was like, oh, well, nothing I'm making is seeing any light. It's not really going anywhere. And I think that's where I just kind of started to fall off. To be honest, I'm not sure I'm past that. I still find it very hard to motivate myself to create sometimes. I think writing music is the most intrinsically rewarding experience that I've discovered. But there have been times where it's been the case with videos. I think it's the case with this one. I felt compelled to write this one and to film it. Hopefully, I will also be compelled to edit it in time. I definitely expended the most of my creative ambition when it was just me and like 20 viewers per video, if that. I don't say that to like whine and be like, oh, I wish I could have done it better. I wish I could have been a big YouTube star. Because I look back on those videos very fondly. It was the most fun I had with YouTube for sure, when it was just me getting home from school and being excited to record a video. Just me, the camera, the mic, and the game. So we're getting towards the end of, I guess, what I all wanted to say. But before we head out, I do want to thank quite a few people and then talk about the future of this channel, where I'm at a little bit more. So I do really want to thank the people in these past 10 years who have been very impactful on my life. Whether we still talk, whether you've moved on to other things, I still just want to take a moment to thank people. I want to thank my parents, my brothers, my teachers and professors. I want to thank one of my oldest online friends, Ozone. You're probably watching this. Shout out to you. The other guys who I did the FNAF podcast with for a couple of years. That was a really fun time, really cool opportunity. My amazing college friends, Sam, Keegan, Jordan, Kennedy, Caitlin, Alex, Cooper, Jenna, Andrew, and especially Chad, who my life would seriously, like, without Chad, my life would be in a very, very different place right now. That's not to say that everyone else didn't have a big impact on my life, and even if you weren't mentioned by name, I seriously appreciate you and everything you've done in my life, even if it's just a super small thing. I'd like to thank my friends Javier and Daniel, my high school friends Liam, Matthew, Will, and honestly, even if we're like never in touch anymore, I still want to thank my middle school friends, Julie, Jared, Aiden. I hope you're all doing well. Bit of a shout out to DJ Ike Nelson, who I was able to connect with over Facebook. He's an awesome guy. I also want to thank the Ryan64 and Sound Horizon fan Discord communities for being really cool places to hang out and talk about shared interests. That same thanks and more is extended to the Ericsson Gaming community for being really my home online for a few years. I really appreciate everyone there. All of these people and many more have meant so much to me, and my life without any one of them would be so different. But that was a lot of looking back. Now I do want to talk about the future a bit and where I'm at. Honestly, I have not had a clear direction with this channel in years, as you know. Anyone who's still watching as an old subscriber very much knows that. Right now my life situation is kind of just working retail and chipping away at student debt while living with my parents. And while I whittle away at that obstacle, I do want to put more time and effort into creative works. So that's going to be music, very much so. I'm almost done with my contributions to a soundtrack to a fan game for a YouTuber. I've been having a lot of fun with that. I also want to just continue writing albums of my own. So definitely stay tuned for that in the future. But when it comes to this channel, I definitely do not want to overpromise, because I have done a lot of that in the past. I've made so many like update videos where it's like, guys, I'm not feeling it right now, but I'll be back soon, and I'll be back better than ever, and here's this series on the way, and then it never happens. And I don't want to do that. So, I'm not doing that here. But, that being said, I do have some video ideas. I've been working on them for a while. As I mentioned earlier, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions about games, and I want to try to experiment with sharing those in video form. I think the age of the Let's Play is kind of over. Even if it wasn't, I'm not sure I have that much to contribute to it these days. And I think I would much rather play games, think about them, formulate my opinions, and share them in rankings, retrospectives, all that. I know that's also becoming kind of oversaturated these days, but I don't really care. I think if I'm going to be making videos again, I'm going to be making them for making them's sake. I want to put them out there because I want to, and not just think about trying to make it a business or think about being super consistent with it. I'd like to, but just to share those opinions. I won't promise anything yet because, you know, I'm very, very inconsistent with motivation and actually getting things done, but hopefully now that I'm a graduated adult, I can actually get my life into gear and try and time manage and get things done, really. But yeah, whether it's once a month, once every 3 months, even just like a few videos a year, I do want to do stuff with this channel still. It's been 10 years and counting, but I'm not closing the doors just yet. If you are an old viewer returning after a few years or a new viewer stumbling upon this, thank you for watching. I hope you'll stay tuned for the stuff I do. I would love to share and discuss and understand all these things in life, in games, in the world, as we navigate this crazy time of life together. This has been Inkyink for the past 10 years. 10 years of Inkyink. And thank you so much. If you have ever watched one of my videos, if you have ever met me, really, thank you. For just being in my life. I think that's going to be about it. Thank you for 10 years.